And to be quite honest with you, I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with Sue Bird.
In her remarks about Caitlin Clark, Sue Bird has fully circled back, considering the current decline in WNBA viewership and the declining enthusiasm of fans.
This is what we want. Instead, we're still getting bullshit on viewership.
Their relationship with Steph heated up. I wasn't going to let Caitlin Clark bear the brunt of the criticism. All season long, Steven has stood behind Caitlin, and he had no intention of giving up. Now,
What do you mean ESPN? So because I work at my day job on ESPN, I'm supposed to ignore the fact?
Suburb was not grateful that Steven brought up the facts. There isn't much real intrigue in the WNBA finals, and viewership is declining. Those are only the figures.
And Stephen A. Smith talk about it. I've seen Shannon Sharp talk about it. And that's what I just don't understand is they work for ESPN. So why are you hating on a product that ESPN
they invest in?
Yeah, that's where these viewership numbers are coming. Yeah, it's a business you're in. It's not that they can't. And by the way, it's not that they can't be critical of certain things. They can have their opinions. But that's where I don't understand
Despite being employed by ESPN, Steven expresses his opinions on the matter. The WNBA has had trouble maintaining its membership without Caitlin, who is a huge draw. According to Sue Bird, arenas are still filled and fans are still coming. Attendance appears to be stable, nevertheless, because ticket costs have drastically decreased.
To see tickets at the Target Center in Minnesota selling for as low as $10.
It's crazy to spend $10 on a playoff ticket. But let's face it, the WNBA wouldn't be offering tickets at that cheap of a price if Caitlin were participating. Obviously not.
To talk about the attendance and says basically that Caitlin had the highest attendance in the playoffs, which Caitlin Clark played her first 2 rounds in Connecticut, which only holds roughly 10,000, and they got swept, so they never made it back to Cambridge in Indiana to play a home game. So they absolutely did not have that.
One of the most renowned voices in women's basketball and a WNBA legend, Sue Bird, has recently found herself entangled in an unexpected dispute. It all began when Bird allegedly accused Caitlin Clark of being to blame for the recent decline in WNBA playoff attendance and ticket sales. Since Clark is well known for drawing a lot of attention to the sport, many were taken aback by her grades.
There is a Caitlin Clark effect on all of basketball, and especially on women's basketball ratings. Kudos to her. She has elevated an entire sport.
Longtime supporter of the WNBA's expansion and tenacity, Bird believed that Stephen A. Smith's remarks unfairly disparaged the league. She believed that they disregarded the players' combined efforts and the league's evolution over time. Bird resisted, stating that the WNBA could thrive without the help of a single player, determined to protect the league's image. She wasn't only frustrated with Smith. She also took issue with Shannon Sharp for drawing attention to the significant impact Caitlin Clark has made on women's basketball. Clark was hailed by Smith and Sharp, who frequently cited her as a key contributor to the spike in viewership and fan enthusiasm. However, Bird felt that this emphasis on a single player overshadowed the league's many significant accomplishments. Strongly supporting women's basketball, she emphasized that teamwork, not simply individual star power, should be the foundation of the WNBA's expansion.
Stephen A. and with Shannon, there's an aspect of them defending their stances on her. We were right about Caitlin and this is our defense. And I still think there's something twisted there because nobody ever said that Caitlin wasn't going to be a marketing gem.
But it's difficult to ignore the reality. Many anticipated that the momentum generated by Caitlin Clark's impressive collegiate basketball exploits would continue into the WNBA playoffs. The league faced a significant obstacle in her absence: how to maintain the enthusiasm and fan interaction she has generated. In order to keep the same level of interest and fill the vacuum left by her disappearance, the WNBA had to act quickly.
You guys take a look at the stands. All the seats, even the courtside seats, are empty.
The WNBA reduced playoff ticket prices as one tactic to combat the decline in interest. The league was obviously trying to fill seats, as fans soon noted that tickets were much less expensive without Caitlin Clark. Although it appeared that games were selling out and that attendance was still high, the truth was more nuanced. The purpose of the price reductions was to prevent the embarrassment of empty venues during important games. This gave the impression that there was a lot of demand, but it didn't accurately represent fan excitement. Stadium capacity was maintained by the league by lowering ticket prices. However, it also became clear that the enthusiasm and involvement simply weren't the same without Clark.
We've been to the Liberty Games. They're full. It looks full in Vegas. It looks full every single place that you go. TD Garden sold out when Caitlin wasn't playing there for...
Arena attendance probably would have been significantly lower if the WNBA had maintained ticket costs at the same level as during Caitlin Clark's season. The league was able to retain the image of high attendance and fill seats by reducing pricing. However, this was merely a temporary solution. The data presents a different picture. It has been more difficult to maintain fan attention without the enthusiasm and energy Clark regularly provided. Sue Bird's current remarks are even more unexpected given her prior endorsement of Clark's influence. Bird was among the first to see Clark's ability to revolutionize women's basketball when she first came to prominence. This change in tone implies that Bird is now more concerned with safeguarding the league's long-term standing.
Nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only.
It's evident that Caitlin Clark has become both a hero and a target in some quarters due to her ability to raise awareness of women's basketball. This is typical in athletics. Fast-rising athletes frequently encounter criticism, sometimes from their own sector as well as from rivals. While some fans applaud Clark's quick ascent, others believe that her success is upending the status quo. Another WNBA great, Cheryl Swoops, has expressed conflicting opinions regarding Clark's influence.
Caitlin Clark come into the WNBA and do what she's doing right now. Immediately, absolutely.
The WNBA finds it difficult to maintain the same degree of interest and enthusiasm that Caitlin Clark created in the absence of players like her. She drew in both casual viewers and die-hard basketball enthusiasts, expanding the audience that the league has long desired. It gets more harder to keep fans interested and enthusiastic once she leaves the spotlight. The league nevertheless confronts significant obstacles in maintaining broad attention and steady support, even with its recent successes in expanding its fan base and visibility. A unique phenomenon, Caitlin Clark is an athlete whose skill and character go beyond the game to attract spectators who might not normally watch women's basketball.
Made people stick around and want to watch the others. A rising tide lifts all boats, which is what we were saying, both Shannon Sharpe and myself, when we addressed that issue. Why would you say a quote like that? We work for ESPN, so I'm supposed to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to the facts? That ain't what we...
For the WNBA, Caitlin Clark's ascent has been a game-changer, attracting both casual and die-hard fans and increasing excitement and viewership in ways the league has found difficult to duplicate without her. Notwithstanding her beneficial influence, she has drawn criticism and suspicion from some pundits as well as from other legends, underscoring the conflict between individual celebrity and the league's overall development. Sue Bird's recent comments express worry that the WNBA is unduly reliant on a single player, yet the data speaks for itself. In Clark's absence, attendance and ratings have decreased, demonstrating her enormous worth. Clark maintains her focus and performs at a high level. However, the league now faces the difficulty of sustaining fan enthusiasm and interest in her absence, demonstrating that her presence is not only significant but also necessary for the WNBA's ongoing success. Arena attendance probably would have been significantly lower if the WNBA had maintained ticket costs at the same level as during Caitlin Clark's season. The league was able to retain the image of high attendance and fill seats by reducing pricing. However, this was merely a temporary solution. The data presents a different picture. It has been more difficult to maintain fan attention without the enthusiasm and energy Clark regularly provided. Sue Bird's current remarks are even more unexpected given her prior endorsement of Clark's influence. Bird was among the first to see Clark's ability to revolutionize women's basketball when she first came to prominence. This change in tone implies that Bird is now more concerned with safeguarding the league's long-term standing.